Ever need to change the colors of an outfit in your e-learning program? Like, for example, maybe blue scrubs don't work and instead you have to have green, or you have to have black, or you have to change the uniform color to match your company's colors. Well, I'm going to show you how easy it is to get into an illustration and in just a few clicks change the colors to match your program. And I promise, no illustration skills required. Let's go ahead and do it.
You can grab the free link to this editable file in the show notes, but if I were in the eLearning Art library, I'd go to the medical collection, find the character that I want, then pick the pose. I like this one, so I'll download it as an SVG. Now that I've downloaded the image, I can just drag and drop it from my browser or File Explorer right into PowerPoint, or I can use the Insert Image feature in PowerPoint. And now that I'm working in it, let's go ahead and make this a little bit bigger. And you'll see, before I start recoloring this, I can see the shoes kind of blend in. It's annoying me, the white against white. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to click on it and go Format Background and just make it a color that's going to create some contrast. So that seems fine to me. Great. And then the other thing I would like to do is to open the selection pane. When I'm editing in PowerPoint, and you can edit in any graphic editing tool, but this is what I'm going to use because it's the simplest for me to use. I'm going to open the selection pane so I can see what's on the screen. So you'll see here, this is graphic number 82. This is the picture over here. It allows me to see everything that's on the screen. And you'll see that this is important because I'm about to unlock the power of the SVG here. And if I right click and I go to Group, Ungroup, or I could do a Control-Shift-G, I will ungroup it and I'll say yes. And actually, you'll see now there's all these different shapes. It's broken it apart in all the different shapes, and they are grouped together because it's the different layering. We have skin that's underneath the clothing. So I think I will ungroup one more level. So I'll go to Group, Ungroup, and it'll just make it so it's easier for me to work with here. And depending on what you're trying to edit, that can change. So these shapes can now all be recolored. So I could just go in here and I could right click on this and say, okay, well, let's just make it this, this, whatever, green. And I can go through and do that for all the different elements. But actually, what I'm going to do Control Z to ungroup. When I'm looking at this, I can see there's a shading color. So we have two colors, and sometimes there will be a highlight, a low light, and the main color. In this case, we just have the main color and a low light. I'm going to grab this square, and because I like it this way, I'm going to hold Shift while I'm drawing it so that they're all the same size. Now, let's say I want to make this match the program in my color. I'm going to right click and I'm going to go fill, and then I'm going to grab the eyedropper and I'm going to grab a real scrub color. So let's say I had a picture for my program and this is the color that we're going to use. Great. Let's go ahead and grab that. I'm going to make this one also not have an outline. And now I'm going to duplicate it twice by doing Control D. I'll drop that there and I'll do Control D. So this is going to be the main color. This would be the highlight, which actually we're not going to use in this one. And this would be the low light. So if I want to get that low light color, it's just a darker shade of that. So I'm going to right click. Now I'm going to go to fill. I'm going to go to more fill colors. And you'll see from here, I can pick anything in the color wheel, but I'm going to try to drag this down. And if you look right here, this is the new color. So, I could make a highlight this way, but I'm going to make it just a teeny bit darker, maybe a little bit darker than that. That looks good to me. Okay, so now in looking at this image, I can see there's this arm element, there's the shirt element, and here's that. So how am I going to get to these? This is where the selection pane is nice. So I'm going to, I'll do Control Z to get back to where I was, Control Z again. If I'm trying to get to that low light color, let me look at this shirt, and let's just, here we are. I'm gonna hide that shirt for a second. And I can see, oh, that's the little element right there. So I'm going to grab the low light color. I'm going to Control-Shift-C, which copies the format. And then I'm going to click on this element, and I'm going to do Control-Shift-V. That's going to drop my low light color. I can see, if I were looking at the original image, that this here, this part of the arm, is also a low light. So let me Control-Shift-V. Get into this. I think that strip will do it. This leg, I'm going to do Control-Shift-V. And those are the only lowlights. The rest are highlights. So now let's bring that shirt color back in. And now I can grab the original color, Control-Shift-C, and I'll do Control-Shift-V onto here. And you can see there is a little bit of contrast there. So the other thing besides Control-Shift-V is I like to use Control-Y, which repeats the last action, which was to bring that color over. So I'm just going to go Control-Y, 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 and Control-Y. So there we are. Now we have, you can see there's the contrast color. That subtle effect really gives it a little bit of depth, and it's awesome. But before I put this into an e-learning program, I'm gonna, or any other program, I'm gonna go ahead and want to save this as an image. So I'm gonna select the whole thing, and I'm going to group it. So I could do Control G, or I can right click and say group, group. There we go. And now it's a single object, but I still want to save this out. So if I was going to drop it into Storyline or Captivate, I would want to save it as a picture first. And then I can save it as a PNG and it'll keep that transparency. I can also save it as an SVG and that will keep it vector. So you could bring it into Storyline. Or if you want it as a flat file that's not editable, you can do a PNG. So either one of those is an option. Ungrouping an SVG gives you the power to easily recolor an outfit or any shape of an image. It's the same strategy I use to recolor hair, skin color, uniforms, and more. But what if you get stuck needing to create new outfits, or add or remove PPE, or layer characters behind background objects, or some other image that's unique to your program? Sign up for my free mini course to build the skills you need to get unstuck with these e-learning design challenges and more. You'll also get the source file so you can follow along. And don't forget to like and subscribe to get more content like this.